to Thoughts That Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee Wallach. The other day, someone sent me a message and says to me, why is it that I keep trying to avoid toxic people, and yet toxic people keep coming up and showing up in my life? They asked that I address that. Well, it's a really interesting one. It's a pretty simple one. What you focus on, you get. Doesn't matter what you focus on. If you focus on not having something, the universe does not hear not. It gives you what you focus on. So if you are avoiding dis-ease, you're telling the universe dis-ease. In other words, don't avoid something, be for something. So in the case of disease, be for health. In the case of avoiding toxic people, don't be against having an experience with toxic people. Know that you are attracting people who are a vibrational match in your life. Do you see there's a real subtle difference there, but it's a huge difference. What you focus on, and this is where a lot of people, they misunderstand affirmations because they go and say, well, I'm focusing on not having toxic people in my life. Well, I'm just going to invite you to try focusing on having healthy relationships in your life. If you focus on healthy relationships, your mind focuses on only those people that are a vibrational match. And when you're focusing on only those people that are a vibrational match, you're not going to focus on toxic people. Toxic people will always be there. They'll be surrounding you. They'll be everywhere. But where you put your focus determines what your experience is. So you can be in a crowd of 100 people. The consciousness that you have with your mind, what are you thinking about, will attract out of that 100 people the people who are a vibrational match to what you're thinking. It's a very subtle thing, but it works. I invite you to try it and see how it works for yourself. Here's the thing. Maybe instead of putting all our weight on the idea that we have to be surrounded by certain types of people, maybe we put our focus on the fact that the only approval we need is our own internal approval. And then we won't really care about what the people around us are saying because they're going to say whatever they're going to say no matter what we do. Do you get that? You can't stop people from talking. You can't stop them from reacting. You can't stop toxic people from being toxic, healthy people from being healthy. But here's what you can do. You can change your own self-talk and realize it is your self-talk that gives you confidence. It's your self-talk that is rewarding to you. It is your self-talk that builds up your self-worth and your self-esteem. It's not that it comes from outside of you. It never comes from outside of you. That is temporary. That's like a drug. And you got to have more and more and more and more of that drug in order to keep functioning. And so why would you do that? Why would you turn your power over to someone else? Well, because it's a habit. It's because what society says you do. It's what social media is conditioning us to do all the time. I'm on social media right now with you. And what am I trying to do? Not to believe a word I say, but rather to think for yourself and to create your most unique and expansive life. I don't want you to be like Lee. You get that? I don't want you to be like Lee. I want you to be like you. But to be like you, you've got to figure it out, who you are. You got to figure out who you want to be. You got to figure out where you want to put your attention. You got to figure out what experience you want in your life. You've got to understand that everyone in your life is a secondary character. Did you hear me? Everyone in your life is a secondary character. There is only one star in your life, and that star is you. Because everything else about every other person in your life, you make up. That's right. You make up with your perspective. I haven't said hello to everyone out there. Lydia, Tina, Carly, Wendy, Mika, Louie, Jean, McBride. And I know there's more, but you're down on the scroll list, so I'm not talking about you right now. But keep checking in. I love to know that you're out there. I love to know that we're connecting to each other, that we're hearing something. And we're all interpreting it differently. And that's okay. I've given up on people hearing my message the way I want them to hear it because I got no control. Do you get that? None whatsoever. Do you know who's going to teach me I have no control? My granddaughter tomorrow. She is in control, and she knows she is the main character in her life. And she knows that she can make up whatever she wants about her grandfather. She calls me Baba. She can make up whatever she wants about Baba, and Baba will fit into that mold because I know when I'm with her, I'm a secondary character in her life, and I just want to have fun with her. I want to use my imagination. I want to play with a 4-year-old mind because that mind's not tainted. To a large degree, I know my mind is tainted. I got almost 71 years of tainting going on. I'm constantly trying to clear away all of the baggage beliefs that I've got about how life should be, how people should be. People are going to be how people are going to be. When you can give up your attachment to how people are going to be, you're going to free yourself. It's going to be highly, you're going to go, oh. So those of you who are watching, if you don't know, these talks like this are also now available on a podcast. I started a new podcast channel called Thoughts Can Change Your Life. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Spotify. Thoughts That Can Change Your Life. Or put in Reveille Wallach and you'll find both of them. You'll find my Agape Spiritual Center podcast, and you'll find my Thoughts That Can Change Your Life podcast. Subscribe, send it around, let other people get this. And you say, why did I start a second podcast? Well, number one, the first podcast is only my weekly talks. It's just my weekly stuff. But I get 4 times the amount of viewers or listeners on my podcast as I do on my videos. So I said, well, wouldn't it be great to make these dailies into audios as well? Why not reach more people? Why not make it more convenient for others? You know, Dr. John DeMartini he says, if you want to be wealthier, find a way to use your gifts to serve more people. And that's what I'm doing. I'm using my gift of teaching, of questioning, trying to reach more and more people. Why? It's fun. It's fun getting the feedback. I get feedback in emails or texts every day from people that I've never met. And I smile because I know our consciousness are on a similar vibration. And when our consciousness is on a similar vibration, nothing feels better. Why? Because we're connecting. I truly believe that what we have forgotten is that we are not alone, but rather we are one. And that's what we're waking up to, the idea that you and I and everyone is one. Here's something that came up the other day. I'm going to share it. Someone was talking about the fact with me that Putin was an evil man. And I said, I would ask to think about it differently. Putin is a human being, is a soul that has a body and a mind. And Putin was given free will, just like all of us were given free will. What he does with it, that's his life. So what I say is, he is not an evil man. He is a man doing evil things. You see the difference? Because you cannot deny that we're all part of the one. If you're spiritual in any way, shape, or form, and you understand oneness, you know that everything is a part of the one. In the human form, we have the freedom to make choices, which is our perspective. And in the human form, we've labeled things as good and as evil. So the person who murdered those 19 children and 2 teachers in Texas a week ago was not an evil person. But what he did was a very evil act. I condemn the act. I don't know if that gives you any clarity. I keep pondering it. I keep thinking about it over and over again. Because the more clear I am, the more I can present it. And Corey, yeah, I accept that the person's human, but I don't accept that that evil act has to continue. I think we have the ability to change that. But until we decide to, nothing's going to change. And we doesn't mean the Republicans. We doesn't mean the Democrats. We means all of us. That's my message for today. Don't try to avoid something, because what you try to avoid, you'll attract. Be for something. Be for something, and then you're in the flow of life. Create a great day, everyone, and know right here, right now, you are loved just like you are. Until tomorrow, aloha.